Top story. Our fourth branch of government, Senator Joe Manchin, announced that he would not support voting rights legislation because it violates the constitutional right of a backwoods senator to euthanize democracy.
The fundamental purpose of our democracy is the freedom of our elections. If we can't come to agreement on that, God help us, John. So I want to fight for this, and I think the Republicans will fight for this and understand we must come together on a voting rights bill in a bipartisan way.
It takes a lot of optimism to seek a bipartisan approach when the other side is currently inspecting Arizona ballots to see if they were printed on fortune cookie paper.
The move upset progressives. Congressman Mondaire Jones tweeted, Manchin's op-ed might as well be titled, "Why I'll Vote to Preserve Jim Crow." Now, Ben, isn't it wrong to compare Jim Crow to the horrible persecution currently faced by sideline Republican senators?
Well, Sarah, the fact that we're having this conversation about a single senator who's standing in a way of guaranteeing the right to vote to all Americans, I think shows you how messed up our democracy is. We've got over, 20 states that are trying to pass incredibly restrictive laws, often aimed at Black Americans to prevent them from voting, prevent them from registering to vote. I think it kind of highlights exactly why our democracy needs reform.
Joe Manchin knows what he's doing. Civil rights movements are only successful when everyone in the country gets behind them unanimously.
And good on Joe Manchin for backing the filibuster. It's a slippery slope to raising the minimum wage, and if that happens, I'll no longer be able to ask my 72-year-old grocery store cashier which cat food tastes the best.
Now, moving on, former president and Propecia huffing cautionary tale Donald Trump is reappearing on the political stage. He delivered a speech at a fundraiser in North Carolina where his totalitarian demands for absolute power were overshadowed by what was going on with his groin pouch.
Well, he then called into the Fox Business show Varney and Company, a show that answers the question, what does racism sound like with a British accent?
How do you get the word out? Do you have a plan?
Well, I have been getting it out. I do news releases or press releases, and I think I've been getting it out very well. But these are bad people. These are dangerous people. Zuckerberg would come to the White House to have dinner with me. Couldn't have been nicer. Sir, you're number one. Congratulations. You're number one on Facebook. All of this crap. But no, they have to be stopped, and they will be stopped. Eventually, they're going to be stopped.
Trump is showing Americans that he cares about what affects them the most, things that only have to do with him and no one else.
Now, Ben, don't you think it's time we let Trump back on social media after he's demonstrated that he can forcibly take a break without causing another civil war?
Actually, the segment you just played kind of points to the reality that when Donald Trump was kicked off Twitter, kicked off Facebook, and all he could really do is have a blog in which he put out his own version of tweets, his news releases, people didn't go. Nobody read it. I think that's an indication to us that maybe people weren't self-selecting Trump's content, that actually the way these social media companies operate is that they kind of mainline Trump's disinformation because they know that provokes people, that gets engagements, that gets them profits. And American democracy dies in the process.
Wow, who would have thunk that the pure embodiment of the Republican Party's id wouldn't quietly fade away after a few months?
Moving on, with a global pandemic ravaging the planet and climate change threatening extinction, it's easy to forget the most important threat of all, nerds doing stupid cyber attacks, which brings us to our new segment, Businesses Under Attack. Here's Energy Secretary and fist pump prodigy Jennifer Granholm discussing the threat.
Many of these private companies are, don't want to let people know. They can't pay, they should not be paying ransomware, but they should be letting us know so we can protect the rest of the country.
Obviously, we need to make sure the blood of all cyber criminals runs in the streets. Ben, you're a drone strike guy. Who do we hit here? Everyone?
Well, I think we have to understand that this is the new reality we're in, where, look, these cyber attacks have come from Russia. Part of what we have to do is we have to strengthen our own defenses so that cyber attacks don't drain all the revenue that and threaten our critical infrastructure. But at the same time, we have to recognize that this is part of a strategy from authoritarians around the world, including Vladimir Putin, to try to use every tool they can, from disinformation campaigns to cyber attacks, to kind of sow confusion and chaos and distrust in government itself.
I get that sextortion email scam every week telling me they'll release videos of me masturbating, and I just say, make my day. I get off to this.
Brava.
In other news, Jeff Bezos is achieving his childhood dream of becoming an astronaut by way of global capitalist domination, announcing on Instagram that he is going to space along with his brother.
I invited my brother to come on this first flight because we're closest friends. I really want you to come with me. Would you?
Are you serious?
I am. You're willing if you want to.
God.
Yeah. What a remarkable opportunity, not only to have this adventure, but to be able to do it with my best friend.
I love you. I love you too.
Oh, thankfully, there are no labor rights in space, so the technicians will be paid in floating spit.
Sorry, before we move on, Teddy, what's going on with your head?
Oh, this? Well, if you must know, I recently realized that due to a lifetime exclusively spent accumulating wealth, I have no companions. So I've decided I am a Bezos brother.
Teddy, grow up. You're not a Bezos.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not, Teddy.
Yes, I am, Rich.
Oh, stop it, Teddy.
I refuse. It's a Bezos thing. We're persistent.
Seriously, Teddy,
We
quit
don't
it.
fear.
What?
We don't fray. It's the Bezos family way.
Teddy, what the hell are you doing?
I'm a Bezos brother.
Holy shit. Ben, will you tell Teddy he's not a Bezos?
Well, Teddy, I have had to kind of wrestle with why democracy is in such bad shape. Part of the reason why is that we should not have societies that produce such extreme inequality that people like Jeff Bezos are going to space.
That's horseshit, Ben, and you know it. By the way, you are also bald. Maybe you're a Bezos brother, too.
Teddy, what are you trying to get away with right now?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm so lonely. Can't I have this one thing? Would that be so hard?
Okay,
Oh my
you're a
God,
Bezos
Jay,
brother.
you're a
You mean it?
No.
Oh, f you guys.
Let's all just agree that it's extraordinary they made the rocket look more like a penis than Jeff Bezos does.
Wow,
Lovely.
people know.
Good
Really put the
night.
work in.